Guys, I wasn't going to get on here and do a video because I've been a little under the weather, but I had to. There is a sister, and she's a young sister that lives here in Kentucky like I do, and her name is Autumn Stoops. Okay, it's Stoops. Autumn Stoops is her name, and I just love her videos. I mean, this young lady's so anointed, and she's so in love with the Lord. It's just so great. But in either case, I've been contemplating as to whether to do this one video. And the reason why is because it's a little odd. But then today, when I was watching her video, just the one that she did this morning, she had said that that the Lord, when she was in prayer and she's been fasting, has been giving her these songs that she's never heard before. And she says they sound like they're from a long time ago. And she says, like, where are these coming from, Lord? And he said, these are songs that were written in heaven. And that's why no man knows them. And this means something to me. And she said also that she kept on hearing this little toy piano. And it was going ding, 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 ding. Just this little toy piano. And she was like, if any of you guys know what that means. Guys, I have been contemplating for over a week whether to tell you guys this or not. Because it's something that kind of came to my attention. And it's something that I probably wouldn't have done when I just had my channel was new and before people really knew who I was, or I think you guys know me a little bit better now. But in essence, when I was 4 years old, my mother and my grandmother got my twin sister and I a toy piano for Christmas. And the weird thing about it is I could sit down and I could play anything that I heard on that piano. So I had pretty good pitch, and I also could just sit down and play a song. Like if I heard Jingle Bells, I could go over to that little toy piano and play Jingle Bells, Jingle all the way. You know, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, right? You know, and even though I don't have a singing voice now, or not too much since that that medical accident, I was really good at playing piano. So that's when they decided to get us lessons. And we took lessons in classical piano, Charlotte and I did, till we were, oh goodness, 15, 16 years old. So we took them for years and years and years and years. And they train you in the classicals because it's just, if you can play classical, if you can play, let's put it this way, if you can play Mozart, Bach, Beethoven, Chopin, Tchaikovsky, you can play anybody, okay? And you can play country music, you know, which is what a lot of people like around here. I never was quite, you know, as into it as some people, but they, you know, we did play that a lot. Like we always had a band when I was growing up, and we would play like people's birthday parties and derby parties. Hannah's blocking my light here in my office, but I got to get this word out to you guys because it's just so weird. But anyway, so like I said, I would play piano like every day. Well, there was a song that I wrote back in 1973. And I never shared it with anybody. I never played it at a recital. I never played it at a concert. I never played it in front of the band. I never played it in front of any of my friends. No one. It was just it was kind of like one of those things that's just between you and God. And I mean, and I was just like, I composed this song. I never put any words with it. It was just a melody. Well, fast forward many years, and I'm probably in my late 20s, I'm thinking, or maybe 30, something like that, at the point where I'm going down the road one day, and I hear the song on the radio. Now, some of you all who may know worldly music, you will know a song called Bittersweet Symphony. Well, it was my song. It was the exact song. Not only that, but since I was trained in the classicals, it was called Bittersweet Symphony, which I would, of course, being trained in the classics, been more likely to write a song that sounds more like the old songs used to, like the symphonies. And that is how the song went. It was bum 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 bum. And guys, I was a little 8-year-old girl in 1973. I wrote this song. I know it sounds crazy, but I played it all the time, just between me and the Lord. Well, if you don't think that the devil is kind of following the saints around from a very young age, or that if he's not trying to influence young children, that's proof positive right there that at least he's paying attention to what we're doing. Because I tell you that my song got hijacked, and if you all wish to go and check it out, I'm sure that I think The Verb wrote the song, and Mick Jagger was given credit for it as well. And it's a very popular song in the worldly context, we'll say. But the words to it, guys, it broke my heart when and you know, I've heard these guys say before, you know, people like Mick Jagger, you know, that are very successful, and Bob Dylan, and all kinds of songwriters say, I don't know, man, what it was. It's just the song came to me. It just came to me, and 5 minutes later it was written, and we recorded it. And John Lennon, I've heard him say that, and you know, stuff like that, guys. I mean, but that's what happened with my song. I mean, like, I wrote it, and then back in 1973 when I was 8 years old, and then here it is on the radio. And it's got words to it. Guys, if you go and check out these words, it says, it is a bittersweet symphony called life. You're a slave to the money, then you die. And it says, when I heard the melody, okay, he heard the music. He said, it healed me. Then I'm here in my mold, and I'm here in my mold. Like he's cast in this mold and he can't change. And he goes, I can't change. I can't change. It's almost like the devil wrote the song. Guys, I mean, it sounds like, but doesn't he come to steal, kill, and destroy? Well, my song, I feel like got stolen, but I mean, like, goodness knows, how could you ever prove or say anything like that to someone? I'm sure it's theirs by all rights. They're the ones who recorded it and put it on the radio and all of that. And to me, it was just something that I played just in front of the Lord. Like, similar to how, you know, like that we're taught in the Bible when David would sing and play in front of the Lord. I did that many times. I would just do it for myself sometimes. It didn't have anything to do sometimes with praise and worship. But if we think that that all things aren't seen and that all things aren't in the spiritual, as far as what the book of Ephesians tells us, then we need to think again. And maybe if I'd had my full armor on back then, or had known it when I was 8 years old, I could have turned that song later in years. Perhaps I never would have. It might have been just something between me and God, basically, because that's what it was. But even if I had to put words to it later, which I was never much of a lyricist, I just never was, which is unusual because those psalms that I've written, or those poems that I've written just as of recent, all of them were written this year. So this was not something that I was ever led to do or felt led to do. I felt like the Holy Spirit led me to do these things this year. But I was never a lyricist. I was always a musician, and but go check it out, Bittersweet Symphony and Autumn Stoops. There's confirmation to your dream that you didn't know what it meant. I love you guys, and I'm sorry to be reporting on all this craziness lately, but these are things I think that we don't think about on the daily that maybe we should. Obviously, there could be the angels of the Lord, you know, around us to protect us, but there could be the other ones listening to what we're doing too. To like I said, he comes to rob, steal, and destroy, and so and he's around us from a young age. And I mean, so pray over your children, pray the full armor over them, teach them how to do that. I think it's really important, guys, especially we're in the last days. So I love you guys, and I'm sure we'll talk real soon.